Yo, what's going on, everybody? You are watching the Bulls Report by Chat Sports. My name is Patrick Siepman, and coming up on today's show, we're going to be discussing the Bulls' first loss of the season as they drop this game to the New York Knicks at Madison Square Garden with a final score of 128 to 116. But I do think there are a lot of positives to take from this game, and just a lot of positives from the 5-1 start to the season. And the first one being is this guy right here, Josh Giddey. I was completely wrong about the contract he signed this offseason, 3 years, $75 million. I wasn't a big fan of the deal at the time, but he has completely proven me wrong. And honestly, that deal, as it stands right now, looks like a complete bargain for the Chicago Bulls. And what has impressed me so much about Josh Giddey, twofold. I think number one is his ability to finish around the rim. Like him in transition, if he is a smaller defender, even like we saw yesterday, like a guy like Mikal Bridges, who was 6'6", he doesn't have a lot of weight on his frame, but he's still a lengthy defender. Giddey will just get him on his hip, and he'll bury him under the basket. He'll get to a little push shot. He's got great touch around the glass, and what I think is so impressive is he will be moving full speed, and it's still his ability to kind of take that half a second to just get that kiss off the glass. His finishing at the rim has been fantastic. And then also defensively with Giddey, I don't ever think he's going to be a plus defender, but he's kind of starting to remind me of like a guy like Steph Curry defensively, where even though he's not good on the ball, he is still fighting. He is still in the right spot where he's a good team defender, but individually definitely still struggles. Can't keep guys in front at a high level. But this guy, his passes last night were just absolutely ridiculous. He is so good, especially when he's coming off that pick and roll that him and Vooch have been running a whole lot this season. If he has that defender and drop coverage, he is making a read where it's like, all right, I'm either going to try to put pressure on the rim. That's not there. I could drop it off the Vooch, but the special pass that Giddey has is when he's having that kick-out pass to the opposite corner, and it's not only like, he's getting the ball to him. Obviously, he's doing that, but it's right in the shooter's pocket. It's, easy comparison for you guys is like in the NFL, where if a guy's running a 5-yard out, like the difference between that 5-yard out turning into a 12, 13-yard game or just, having no yak ability is throwing them in stride. And that's how Giddey feels, where it's like every pass is perfect in the shooter's pocket. If I was a shooter playing next to Josh Giddey, I'll be having a field day out there. Like, this guy is just fantastic, and I was completely wrong about that deal. He also, he is the identity of the Bulls team where they want to get out in transition. They have a lot of young, athletic wings on the perimeter where he is pushing the pace and guys are just running with him, and he's just consistently making good read after good read. I've been very impressed with this guy, and I also just like the intensity and the swagger he plays with. Like, he really does feel comfortable. The city's rallying around him. This locker room's rallying around him, and he truly does feel like the quarterback of this Bulls team. So I've been very impressed with him. Shout out to Josh Giddey, and if you guys want to show Josh Giddey some love on today's show, type those threes, type his jersey number down below. I have been completely wrong on this guy. I thought, it would be a little hard to replicate what he did at the second half of last season, post All-Star break, those 19 games when he was averaging 28 and 8. But, those are his averages so far to start this season. Had a triple-double last night. So, Josh Giddey, you have been fantastic. So, show him some love. Type those threes down below. All right, let's talk about Matas Buzelis here. A little bit of a quiet game for Boozy. 14 points, 7 rebounds. He had the three-point shot going. So the last two nights, even though he started off 2 of 12 from downtown to start the season, he has been very fantastic from beyond the arc. Now, the thing about Boozy, I thought defensively, he's got a tough matchup. Like, you're going against Mikal Bridges. You're going against OG Anunoby. Those guys were kind of having his way with him. Now, he was still in the right spots. He had a couple of nice defensive plays, but those guys are just veterans at this point in the NBA. Like, those guys know the spots they want to get to. They can rise up, get to that same release point every time, and then it's just no matter who's guarding them, it's just about them making or missing the shot. But the one thing I want to see from Boozy is just be a little more aggressive offensively, because obviously the Bulls, they're playing this team offense where, they're moving the ball, it's flying around. I just wish Billy Donovan would go to more just sets for Matas Buzelis, where it's either you're getting the ball with him, being the ball handler in the pick and roll, or just getting them some isolations on the short wing area, like that LeBron spot on the court. But, he also had a very impressive play when he took OG Anunoby to the basket, got completely hacked on the play, didn't end up getting a call, but he buried him, got to that little jump hook. So we're still seeing flashes with Buzelis, but again, be patient. He just turned 21 years old. Second year in the NBA, and I think it's really just going to come down to, him just continuously developing his game and adding just more muscle on his frame, because he already feels a lot bigger this year compared to last, but I just can't wait to see this guy when he's like 25, 26 years old and his game is more complete, and he's feeling like more like a grown man out there because he can sometimes get lost. He was slipping on the court a couple of times last night. And that's going to happen. I mean, you're going against Anunoby and Bridges, two of the best perimeter defenders in the NBA, but I do like the fight he showed. Like, going against those two guys, if he looked like he didn't belong, I would have some concerns, but he looked like he belonged with them. It's just going to come down to him developing over and over again. Now, Nikola Vucevic, he had probably his worst game defensively of the season last night. I do want to give him credit for the first 5 games. He was fighting a lot defensively. He was flying around, but last night he was just getting lost. Karl Anthony Towns was beating him off the dribble a lot. Even just guys like Jordan Clarkson, Landry Shamet, like when they're attacking him off the pick and roll, they can just get to that pull-up midi, and they were just knocking down jumpers. So Vooch did struggle a little bit last night defensively, but offensively, I mean, him being a plus or negative out there on the basketball court just really comes down to him knocking down the three-point shot. That's clearly something the Bulls are trying to attack against the New York Knicks. You get Cat lost in those pick and rolls, and you just fly it out to the pop man, whether it's Jalen Smith or Nikola Vucevic. So Vooch wasn't his best game, but again, so far throughout the season, he has been playing good basketball and has been impressing me. Now, Trey Jones, this guy just balls out every game. Like, I just love what he brings to this Bulls offense. Obviously, 6 of 13, pretty efficient, 1 of 2 from downtown. We'll take that. Obviously, he's not a dead-eye three-point shooter, but 15 points, 5 assists, 2 boards yesterday, just being that catalyst for the Bulls offense, just generating, easy looks for his teammates. So I thought he was pretty good. Kevin Huerter, you guys cracked me up. You guys said I looked like Kevin Huerter on a previous show, and honestly, I don't even disagree with you. We kind of got the same hair going on right now, but I don't know what the word is. Hairism, where you guys just see a redhead, say he looks like another redhead. But Kevin Huerter, he was a minus 15 last night. Couldn't really find his three-point shot. He is just a streaky shooter, which most guys in the NBA are streaky shooters, like even the dead-eye guys. But, he didn't really have his best stuff yesterday. I do like the fight he shows defensively, though. Way better defender than, what I thought he was when the Bulls acquired him in that trade from the Sacramento Kings and the San Antonio Spurs. Now, Isaac Okoro, he had a good game offensively, but he is just still so bad on that side of the floor. Like the Knicks yesterday were just like, and it kind of reminded me of the Knicks game plan when they faced the Cavs in the playoffs, I believe 3 seasons ago, where they were just saying, hey, Okoro, we'll leave you wide open in the corner. We'll help off, get some more guys in lanes. That's kind of how they were treating him yesterday. Now, he did knock down 2 3-point shots, but he just is so bad offensively. I'm curious to see if they're going to keep him in the starting lineup for the rest of the season. But Sticks looked pretty good yesterday, specifically in that first half. He was knocking down a couple of big-time threes. Again, just getting Cat lost in that pick-and-pop area. And also when he is just a one-dribble drive guy, like he throws up that pump fake, he does have some athletic ability to get to the rim. So I like what I've seen from Sticks. And then Patrick Williams, even though he didn't shoot the ball too efficiently last night, I've been very impressed with what I've seen from him. His averages are still the same. 9 points, 3 boards, 3 assists. But it still feels like he is making more of an impact out there. So it's nice to see this guy develop. I think he is better in more of a condensed role off the bench, which obviously 4th overall pick. You would hope he would end up being a starter, but still I think he could be a positive guy off the bench for this Bulls team. Now, I do want to highlight some of the Knicks players here on the second half of today's show because they just got wicked hot from downtown in last night's game. But before we do so, got to tell you guys about today's presenting sponsor. That is PrizePicks. Now, the hard-hitting basketball action is even better with PrizePicks. The weather might be changing, but the feeling of right never gets old. So keep the season rolling on PrizePicks by getting $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. And PrizePicks is the only app that offers stacks. I mean, you can pick up to the same player 3 times in the same lineup. So if you guys want to pick more on Josh Giddey's points, rebounds, and assists, well, now you can't pick all of them in the same lineup only on PrizePicks. You guys can also follow other PrizePicks players directly on the app and copy their lineups in one click. Whether it's a friend, celebrity partner, or just someone whose picks you like, hit that follow button and check out every lineup they create in the new Feed tab on PrizePicks. So download the PrizePicks app today, plug in promo code CLNS, get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's promo code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Shout out to PrizePicks for sponsoring today's show. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. Jalen Brunson for the Knicks last night, he came out firing. I think he had 19 points in the first quarter. He just loves playing the Chicago Bulls. I remember a couple of years ago before the Bulls traded Caruso, like this guy just absolutely owned him. Jalen Brunson, one of the best players in the NBA. Like this guy is just an offensive generator. If he gets to his spot, it's really just coming down to him making or missing the jump shot. There's really nothing you can do defensively to slow him down. But this guy is just, every single year, he's just a walk-in 30 points a night. You can't stay in front of him. He's got some of the best footwork I've ever seen for a guard. I mean, he's probably the best post-up guard I've ever seen. He gets you in that LeBron area, and he can just get to that turnaround jumper. I mean, still another season of Brunson just impressing. And then also OG Anunoby. This guy cooked the Bulls last 2 games, knocking down the three-point shot at the high level. He's also great at just like limiting his game almost, where it's like, hey, I'm either going to get to the rim, dunk the basketball, or I'm just going to take that wide open three. And then if he keeps on developing that turnaround mid-range shot, like OG Anunoby, he could be a sneaky all-star this year in the Eastern Conference. Then Mikal Bridges, even though he didn't have too much of an impact scoring the ball, I really felt his impact in terms of him playmaking. Like, he can beat guys off the dribble at a high level. He obviously coming from that Villanova tree. They know how to make the right reads on every single play. So I thought he was pretty damn good last night, even though it was only 10 points. Still was able to tack on 9 assists. And that mid-range game he has, I mean, it is completely lethal. He kind of reminds me of, like, we saw offensively like a Chris Middleton type of player where it's like if he just gets to his mid-range, like that type of shot in the postseason is so much more impactful than in the regular season, because the regular season for the NBA just has pretty much turned into a numbers game, basing off the spreadsheet. But if this guy, I mean, if he can get that mid-range going in the playoffs, like the Knicks are going to be a problem. And then Cat, thought he had a pretty solid night. Obviously, he is still a poor defender, but I mean, offensively, like if he's knocking down that three-point shot, you got to close out on him. He is just a one-dribble drive to get into the rim, and it's just tough to stop him because he's such a big body. You almost have to follow him when he's going to the rim. I think he was 7 of 7 from the free throw line as well. And then Josh Hart, I thought he was pretty damn good yesterday too for the Knicks. I don't know if Josh Hart is hurt or if he's just feeling his age. It's also tough for a guy like Josh Hart, just such an energy, like, full effort guy. Like, it's probably tough for him to get up for these games, early in November. But, you felt his impact yesterday. That is one thing, like, I mean, for Bulls fans, you guys remember a guy like Javonte Green. I wish they had one of those guys, or at least I wish Okoro kind of played a little more like Josh Hart, just given a little more effort. But Josh Hart was amazing. And Jordan Clarkson came off the bench. I mean, I think he started off probably 4 of 4 in this game. He is an absolute flamethrower. And like the Knicks, like it's such an advantage for them because obviously they haven't had a lot of bench scoring over the last couple of years. But you got a guy like Jordan Clarkson who can get hot like that, and then also a guy like Landry Shamet. I mean, if he's getting going, like it's just tough to beat this Knicks team when they're cooking on all cylinders offensively, when they're, able to beat you off the dribble. They're knocking down open shots. They still got some really, really good perimeter defenders in OG, Bridges, and Deuce McBride, and obviously Mitchell Robinson, who didn't play a whole lot yesterday, but still him protecting the rim. One of the better rim protectors in the league. So, listen, I'm not really, hitting the panic button just yet. The only one thing that I will say that is not too good for the Bulls is the three-point discrepancy. Like, we have seen this team, I mean, heading into that Knicks game, I think teams were shooting 28% from 3. Is that going to maintain throughout the season? Absolutely not. So we'll see how it all ends up shaking out. But still, Bulls are a fun team to watch. I'm proud of this team. They have been in the gutter over the last couple of years, but at least they're a team that, like, I actually get excited to watch every single night. And that's the first time in about 5-6 years that I've been able to say that about this team. But if you guys made it to the end, give me a C red down below. See y'all next time. Go Bulls.